Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Some of these areas of Siberia, the gas is trapped beneath enough of that ice that you literally get an explosion, just like a volcanic explosion.
Thawing of the permafrost. Countdown to a climate catastrophe. Part 2 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan, the factory animal people live in such filthy, unhygienic conditions, and you put them in your mouth?
Goda Milda, wonderful viewers. That means nice to meet you in Danish, the official language of Denmark. I'm Oliver. The blissful people of Denmark wish that all beings will wake up and choose the vegan lifestyle to save the planet. Welcome to our show, Thawing of the Permafrost, Countdown to a Climate Catastrophe, Part 2 of 2. The Arctic landscape acts as a vital cap that contains one of the largest natural reservoirs of organic carbons in its frozen soils. But once the cap is thawed, the release of carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere could set the planet on a dangerous course. In 2018, research on abrupt thawing that occurred on the Arctic lakes, known as thermokarst lakes, was led by Professor Katie Anthony as the leader of NASA's Arctic's Boreal Vulnerability Experiment, or ABOVE project. Professor Anthony and her team carried out the study of methane gas emitted from 72 locations in 11 thermokarst lakes in Alaska and Siberia. They discovered that the abrupt thawing of permafrost increased the release of ancient carbon stored in the soil by 125 to 190% compared to the gradual thawing alone. Regarding these findings, Professor Anthony said, "The mechanism of abrupt thaw and thermokarst lake formation matters a lot for the permafrost carbon feedback in this century. We don't have to wait 200 or 300 years to get these large releases of permafrost carbon. Within my lifetime, my children's lifetime, it should be ramping up. It's already happening, but it's not happening at a really fast rate right now, but within a few decades, it should peak." She warned that by the middle to end of the century, the permafrost carbon feedback should be about equivalent to the second strongest anthropogenic source of greenhouse gases, which is land use change. Geologist Dr. Patrick Abbott inspected the heatwave that occurred in the summer of 2020 in Siberia.
But in some of these areas of Siberia, the gas is trapped beneath enough of that ice that you literally get an explosion, just like a volcanic explosion.
He says these bursts have happened in the past, but are now being accelerated because of the heat.
There's over 7,000 of them that have been identified in Siberia, and over 400 of them are looked at as being in imminent danger of eruption.
So as more of these methane bursts occur, they will release more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere.
As the Earth warms, it causes more things to cause more warming, and you get this cascading effect where one thing leads to another, warmth only going to continue to grow in amount and magnitude over time.
Supreme Master Qinghai has spoken many times to warn us about the dangers of methane gas and the melting of the permafrost.
As a recent example, US and Canadian scientists traveling to the Arctic have noted increased methane gas being released from the Earth's melting permafrost, which is storing immense amounts of methane beneath the frozen surface. Other research has also highlighted how quickly the temperature is rising in the Arctic, much faster than in the rest of the world. This means a vast quantity of methane could be released from the previously frozen soil very quickly, which would be a complete disaster for life on Earth. So we are truly in a grave ecological situation.
So now even we know that methane gas and the nitrous oxide are more deadly, more poisonous than CO2. And we have a lot of them. Yeah? we have less CO2 in the atmosphere now than what is even in store for us in the ocean bed. Because the ocean, the river also absorbs CO2 and they store it there. And when it's cold, then it just compresses there and lays there, harmless. But now as the weather is getting warmer and these gases are going to be released, it's already releasing into the atmosphere, as you knew it from scientific reports. So now the permafrost layer is melting each day, and the methane gas, or other gas even, are releasing into the atmosphere. I really hope and pray that someone is listening.
Vegan, because we don't want to lower our status.
Concerned viewers, we'll be back after taking a brief interval to pray that the urgent message from Supreme Master Ching Hai will be heard and acknowledged far and wide. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our show, Thawing of the Permafrost, Countdown to a Climate Catastrophe. Most permafrost areas in the northern hemisphere of the planet have been frozen since the last ice age, or about 10,000 years. Scientists from around the globe have studied the rapid thawing of permafrost and share their concerns about a surge of planet-warming greenhouse gases. Professor Christina Scherdel, a biogeochemist at Northern Arizona University, believes that permafrost thawing is an urgent issue. During an interview with the Revelator newsletter, she said, "More greenhouse gases being released means more warming. It doesn't matter where, we all share the same atmosphere." Professor Ted Schur, a permafrost expert from Northern Arizona University, says, "This rate of warming suggests substantial change underway. This is important and often overlooked news. We often don't think about what we can't see deep under the ground." His report, published in Inside Climate News 2019, states, "A rapid meltdown would be disastrous because it could release a lot of CO2, in addition to methane, a powerful, short-lived climate pollutant, to the atmosphere, where it would cause additional warming." Another investigation concerning the rapid thawing of permafrost was conducted in 2021 as part of the ESA-NASA Arctic Methane and Permafrost Challenge. The study found that deadly pathogens were hidden deep below the Arctic's permafrost, suggesting that these lethal viruses trapped deep below the Arctic surface could be released as a result of the rapid melting of ice. The alarming information was published in the scientific journal Nature Climate Change 2021. The study's abstract warned, "Thawing permafrost threatens to release biological, chemical, and radioactive materials that have been sequestered for tens to hundreds of thousands of years. As these constituents re-enter the environment, they have the potential to disrupt ecosystem function, reduce the populations of unique Arctic wildlife, and endanger human health." Dr. Arwin Edwards, a lecturer in biological sciences at Aberystwyth University, states, "Changes in the Arctic's climate and ecology will influence every part of the planet as it feeds carbon back to the atmosphere and raises sea levels. We need to understand more about the fate of these harmful microbes and pollutants to properly understand the threats they may pose." Dr. Diego Fernandez Prieto from the European Space Agency adds, "Research being conducted as part of the ESA-NASA Arctic Methane and Permafrost Challenge within our Science for Society program is vital to understanding the science of the changing Arctic. Thawing permafrost clearly poses huge challenges. Solid science and knowledge are critical so that decision makers are armed with the correct information to help address these issues. As the warming of the atmosphere increases, alarming signals raised by Mother Nature are being experienced around the globe. Apart from extreme weather events, the thawing of permafrost is yet another sign warning us to change our unsustainable lifestyles. Meat and dairy diets are driving climate change at a distressing speed. Deforestation to clear land for cattle people ranches alone adds 340 million tons of carbon to the atmosphere each year. Supreme Master Ching Hai has often spoken about stopping the consumption of animal people products as the only real solution to halt climate change and save our precious planet.
Scientifically speaking, methane from animal people is a major contributor to global warming today. This has been documented by many different scientific bodies, the first of which, of course, was the United Nations report in 2006. Everybody knows by now, called Livestock's Long Shadow. Since then, much more research has been published about livestock, meat production, and greenhouse gases. One fact is clear. If we stop meat consumption and livestock raising, we will also eliminate one of the most heat-trapping gases, which is methane. And since this gas disappears more quickly from the atmosphere, the planet will cool almost immediately. This will also address problems like the melting permafrost, which will otherwise emit more methane if nothing is done to halt it.
The unnatural eating of flesh meats is as polluting as the heathen worship of devils, with its sacrifices and its impure feasts. Through participation in it, a man becomes a fellow eater with devils. Saint Clement of Alexandria, vegetarian.
Thank you, Supreme Master Ching Hai, for your wise counsel. We all pray that the urgent adoption of a vegan diet needed to end climate change will soon take place worldwide. May your life be filled with happiness and peace through heaven's loving grace.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/PE.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/PE.
برامجنا متوفرة بالعديد من اللغات. يرجى زيارة suprememastertv.com/schedule و suprememastertv.com/PE.